Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Working Class Podcast. My name is Chris Swanson, the Sheriff of Genesee County, also candidate running for governor, representing the working class, the men and women who just go and gut it out every single day. Our guest today is a knockout guest.
Knockout guest.
How about that, man? It's,
great way.
Andrew Keller, he's a new dad. He's got a great story. He's a leader, but more importantly, he's got a heart for people that we're going to talk about it when it comes to autism. But, man, dude, you asked your wife to marry you on a Breaking Story gig. Tell us about that. Not many people get to do that.
So, having the opportunity to meet a wife that works in the same career, A, I never thought would happen. B, I wasn't going to allow it to happen because there are a bunch of pretty girls that are on TV. And I was like, nah.
You're talking about being a news reporter.
Just being a news reporter.
Got it.
Yeah. And so I met this lady named Meg that came in, and she was a young girl from Missouri and just started her first career job. And I thought to myself, okay, another pretty girl. She'll be gone in 2 years.
She ain't interested in me.
No. I'm some overweight white guy from Davison, Michigan. So, it doesn't matter. But anyways, she comes in and, we figure out, hey, we have a little chemistry happening. And, we talked and we hung out and we'd go out after work sometimes and have dinner with like the entire crew. And I remember vividly one time she came up and she squeezed my back shoulder and she said, hey, what's going on?
That's it.
And that was it.
That was the sign.
That was the sign. And now, her plan was to leave the mid-Michigan area after 2 years, continue on the track of all the TV world people and try to get to that top. Now we have a child in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and have a house, and she's been here for a decade.
Well, how did you ask her to marry you? I mean, this is like a big deal in mid-Michigan.
Yeah.
Everybody's wondering, like, hey, if I'm going to ask my spouse to marry me, I want it to be special. Like, this was legit special.
Yeah, so I have a good friend that is now the chief of the Saginaw Fire Department, Brandon Hallsbeck. I said, Brandon, I need your help. And I called the station. At this time, I had gotten out of the
TV
TV
year is
world.
this?
This was, 2018.
All right, you better keep that on, man. I'm telling you, if she asks you this, you better know.
Yeah, right. So 2018 comes along, and I talked to Brandon, and I said, Brandon, we need to do something special here. He said, I got an idea. And I said, let's hear your idea. And he didn't want to do the fire tower. Like, he didn't want to bring out all apparatus. And I said, no, that's not a good enough idea. I need a better idea. I want to climb a ladder, and I want to act like I'm saving somebody.
Yeah, right. Superhero story.
Yep. So I called TV5 where she was working. I talked to the news director, the general manager. I said, I need your help. After she walks off set, I need you to send her out to this location. There's going to be an activity, suspicious activity, where she needs to go check it out. So when she showed up, she came by herself. The cameraman was already there.
Yeah, also known as the photog.
Yep, the photog. She shows up. I'm up on top of a 100-foot ladder.
You weren't freaked out at all?
No.
I would not be able to do that.
I was freaked. I'll tell you why I was freaked out here in a minute. But so I'm up there and I'm acting like I'm saving something.
And she has no idea it's you.
She did.
Okay.
She says she did.
All right.
So anyways, I'm up there and I bought this stuffed animal, and I brought the stuffed animal down the steps, which is a long way.
Yeah, it is.
100 feet in the air. That's a long way down.
Especially for a big feller.
And I was in all fire apparatus. I've never worn apparatus. So that stuff is heavy.
Yeah, it's like 40, 50 pounds.
At least.
Yeah.
And you sweat. So anyways, bring it down. And she said at this point, I have a birthmark on the back of my neck. It's a very minor birthmark, but she recognized it. She goes, oh my God, that's Andrew. Oh my God, he's doing this. What is going to happen?
Right.
I get down and they had the fire truck, the ladder swing over. They drop it down and I come off. And I take off my coat, my hat. I'm drenched in sweat.
Looking gross.
And the best thing is I didn't wear an undershirt because
I wanted to look
sexy.
This is true love.
Right. I wanted to look sexy for her.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. And I was
not being there, I'm not sure you pull that part off. But
it
go
was
ahead.
it was a light blue shirt and it looked Royal Navy.
Gross.
So yeah, it is what it is. That's why she loves me. At least that's what I tell myself. So I go down and I get down on a knee. Will you marry me? And I'm sweating. I'm choking up like everyone's that's ever been engaged does. And she said, yeah. And she goes, that was interesting. And
wait, it wasn't even a sure fight, yeah?
No, it was a sure fight. All right. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But I had her mom, her dad, her sister, and her best friend fly into town. They all came out. It was a big surprise.
People are probably listening and watching right now thinking, Why didn't you do that for me? Why didn't you do something? So you just shamed everybody who didn't do something big like that.
Don't be shamed.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
Be a sweaty mess.
Be a sweaty mess.
That's gross.
Yeah. So anyways, I was very disgusting, but it
worked out.
Made for a memorable story.
There you
Next
go.
morning I wake up because they videotaped it. I wake up and it was on CNN. And I'm like, oh,
No
good.
way.
Oh yeah.
So
Local former
all right,
journalist.
we're gonna tell our production team to try to throw that little spot in there during this story.
Oh boy.
Meg.
Oh my gosh. I'm like,
You're my everything, as you know. I love you more than anything. And yes, I tried to embarrass you a little bit. But will you marry me?
yeah. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Oh, boy.
Especially the sweaty, I want to see everything. I want to see that gray turn into something, a different
my
color.
voice, I'm sure, cracked like Urkel.
Oh, yeah.
I had it all going on.
I
at that
got it.
point. Oh, yeah. So, anyways, that's how Meg came into my life. Somehow she said yes, and somehow we've been together, and we got married and have a child.
There you go. Yeah. A newborn, like a month and a half old.
Not even a month, and like 3 weeks old.
Isn't that crazy?
And it is
wow,
amazing.
good for you, man.
I tell people that have not experienced it, obviously you're a family man yourself, but we'll tell a story. Because we have a couple minutes. So when I was in the hospital and we went to the OBGYN, throughout the entire process, I told the OBGYN, I said, I would be honored if I could catch my kid. Okay. She goes, ha, ha, yeah, right. Because she, A, didn't think I could stomach it, and B, didn't think Meg would allow it. So anyways, I'm like, yeah, well, okay, well, I want to catch my kid. And she said, yeah, okay. Anyways, we get to the point. We go in on a Monday night, and it is Tuesday morning, and the OBGYN comes in. She says, I need 2 hours because I have to go do this other procedure. When I come back, we're delivering this baby. And it was a natural birth.
Yeah.
She goes, you're going to labor down. I'm like, okay, cool. So anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm starting to get that nervousness. We're talking about nervousness and Meg a lot because these lifetime stories that happen always come to fruition and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. But anyways, we're in there and the OB comes in with the entire crew to deliver this baby. She had a pair of gloves, tosses them to me. It wasn't even like, here you are. She goes, throw these on.
You're on the team.
Boom. Put these gloves on, sterile gloves, after I just had a breakfast sandwich. Okay. So actually,
did not wash your hands.
Let me say this: I actually had two because Meg could not eat hers because
and
the
you're a big
doctors
fella,
were like,
so why leave one on the counter? There you go.
Going to waste.
You got to do that for a Davison Cardinal.
Oh yeah, man. That Davison Cardinal blood kicked in, and I was ready to eat. So, anyways, I go wash my hands. I did wash my hands because I didn't think that my child would want, bacon,
sausage,
egg, and
biscuit
cheese on
today.
them, right? Yeah, right. So I wash my hands, come back, throw these gloves on, and she goes, "You want to see the baby's head?" I could get graphic with this. I don't know how graphic you want me to get. But anyways, she showed me the baby's head, and I was like, whoa. Like, that's different world type experience.
They didn't teach that.
Anyone that has watched
in
the
high
natural
school.
birth.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my gosh. So anyways, she was like, I'll use my hands. There's your baby's head. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. So we sit there, and she said, all right, baby.
At what point was your stomach a little queasy right now?
It wasn't. I was more amazed. I'm like, oh my God, that's my kid's head.
Yeah.
So I was more amazed, and then we started the process, the pushing process. 30 minutes.
like you're doing this, all right? Can you give Meg some credit? Yeah.
Meg, yes.
Yeah.
Doctor, yes.
All the moms out there, I know you want to punch them right in the face right now.
No, absolutely.
What do you mean you? Go ahead.
It was me. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, she says, push. 30 minutes goes in. She goes, it's Andrew, it's time. I want you to catch him. And it was one final push. She did thing, fell in my hands. And there's a picture that the production company can find as well, the production crew that's put this together, that shows every single emotion that I've ever had all wrapped up in one photo.
Wow.
I caught the baby, and I was losing myself. OB takes the baby, places him on Meg's chest. Meg made a couple OB, and that was it. Everything released. I felt like that experience that you've never had.
Wow.
Or that people have had, but for myself, I'm like, oh, wow.
You broke down?
Broke down.
Yeah.
Yep. And out came a 6 pound, 8 ounce young, healthy boy named Grant McLeod Keller.
That's it.
And here we are.
Grant, bro. Good
So,
story, man.
Yeah.
You're filled with emotion. When you do things, you go big.
You go big.
Yeah.
You got to go big.
So throughout your life, you mentioned Davison High School. You
Yep.
graduated there. Went to Michigan State.
Yep.
I married a Sparty. I met her in jail. It's my wife.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, right. I balanced the ticket being a Michigan grad,
Yep.
and I'm faculty at Michigan. So I when I saw that you went to Michigan State, you your 4 year there.
4 year there. I was a journalism degree.
Okay, and then you went into the media world.
Media world.
It obviously met your wife, and then there was a moment in time where, I mean, you obviously went to school for it, which is a lot of people can relate that I went to school for this, but I'm doing something completely different. Or there may be people who are thinking, I went to school for this. I don't want to do something different because I went to school for this. My question is, when did you realize I'm going to do something completely different, even though I was on this track, I went to school for this, but now you're break into a real estate profession?
It's a great question because, there's a huge leap of faith that's needed going from something where I knew a check was coming every 2 weeks. The check, albeit was very crummy, but it still paid the bills and it got me through. And, I made lifelong friends in this career and I went to school for it and I was still paying student loans for it. And there was a point where I looked at Meg and I said, Meg, you are 1,000 times better than I am at this career.
And were you on camera?
I was a reporter.
Okay.
I remember charging you and, Sheriff Pickell back in the day and have to chase you down and call you and you'd always show up at 6:30 because I had the evening shift.
Got
and
it.
you'd be tired and you'd be like, what do you need?
That's
so
right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So, when you work through this and it's something that and you say, you know what, that's, why not just shake it all up? That's what happened. A lot of it, I give full credit to my wife, Meg.
Yeah.
She, we had discussed, is having two people in the same profession, is that always the best choice?
Yeah.
Especially
in your profession, you can get whacked in a day.
Right. And we see it happen all the time.
Yeah.
So, when we think, okay, are we going to do this leap? It was time.
Yeah.
And just randomly around the same time that my contract was coming to an end, I get a call from a broker that actually sold us our house in Frankenmuth. And he said, have you ever thought of real estate?
Okay. So that's what I call a seed planner.
Seed planner is big time, stars align, whatever you want to look at. Because I had never thought of it. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be walking into people's houses giving them a value.
Yeah.
But it's weird how life works.
Yeah.
So I said, no, I haven't thought about it. He goes, I think you're good. I think you'd be pretty good at it. Okay, I'll listen because, worst case scenario, if I do go down this path, I fail and I go do something else.
Right.
I'm one of those bounce back type dudes.
Right.
I love bouncing back. But so I talked to him. We kind of put a plan in place. I did the class. It was a 40-hour class online. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty neat.
Yeah.
And my contract ended. First day my contract ended, I sold my best friend's parents' house in Davison.
Good for you.
So first day.
And what real estate company was that?
That was called JMW Real Estate, small little independent in Frankenmuth.
I'm aware, yeah.
Yep. So you have all these things in life where you're like, okay, I have my roots are right here in the TV world, or so I thought.
Right.
Why am I doing this? Now it's a commission based.
Yeah.
I gotta produce to make any living. Am I even a salesperson? I don't think I'm a salesperson. But, you kind of make that trajectory change and you do that career change and you realize, all right, I just took the leap of faith of my life. It's working out okay.
Yeah.
And
how long after you took that leap of faith did you think, you know what, I can make this happen?
Took about 8 months.
Yep.
Now, I remember vividly there was a time where I looked at Meg and I said, Meg, I'm going to have you pay for the mortgage this month because you go into a straight commission-based, it doesn't happen easy, and it takes a while. And she said, great. But I knew, because the cool thing about real estate is you kind of work months ahead because of the time it takes to close. So I knew I had a couple closings coming up. I'm like, I can build off of these.
Sure.
She paid the mortgage. The mortgage went through. We kept the house. We didn't get foreclosed on.
Right.
And then 2018, I would say January of 2018 is when I got two big boys under contract. And
that just broke everything open.
2018 was the first year I actually made any money.
Yeah.
2018 was the first year that I realized being a 1099 employee, when you have to pay the IRS and state taxes, it sucks. And it did. Yeah. It was horrible. But at the same time, I'm like, even though I paid taxes, I still have money.
And you only pay taxes because you made money.
Correct. Which is a beautiful thing.
From the time you made that leap to you made your first hit, how long was that? What years?
I would say it was about 8 months. So I got out of TV in 2017.
Got it.
2018, I took the job in the real estate world.
All right.
Yep.
So safe to say about a year and a half from the time you made the decision to the time you realized, all right, I have financial security, you had to wake up every day and go to work.
Still
like
do.
nobody's going to knock on your door and say, Andrew, it's time to go to work. Nobody cares. You got to make it happen. I mean, that's part of this whole leadership type mentality that there are people that wake up every day. Nobody tells them what to do. They go there, they gut it out. And that's what you did.
You have to gut it out. And 1099 employees or anyone that owns their own business that's watching this right now knows exactly what I wake up to every single morning. Fear, anguish, excitement, all of those. Every morning I wake up and all of those feelings go through because I'm like, is this it?
Yeah.
Is this it? Is this the day that my business fails? Is this the day that I get sued? Is this the day that somebody goes out and, does something stupid? You just don't know. But it's also fun because you get to kind of be that top dog. And I have a business partner, Rachel Opperman Clark.
Yeah.
When we purchased the brokerage, which we'll get to in a minute, we went into it. We're two young blood, fresh faced, don't know what we're doing type people.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to kind of feed off of it and take this brokerage into a direction that you say, man, I'm pretty happy with this.
Good for you.
And that's exactly what happened. In 2020, after 3 years of being in real estate, 2020, my boss that brought me on, the one that gave me the idea, said, I want to move closer to my kids in Nashville. You guys want to buy it? Rachel and I sat down. We talked about it. We bought it. In that time, we have opened a Main Street Frankenmuth storefront, essentially. We have our business right on Main Street. We have an Airbnb above it. We just this year purchased 32 apartment doors.
Good for you.
So, and I have 2 rentals.
Yeah.
So, you just realize
that's multiple streams of income.
it's multiple streams of income, but more importantly, I think it's just gratification knowing that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah. Progress,
Because,
man.
Yeah, it's progress. I'm not going to get the retirement the pension plan that my parents live on. I'm not going to get some of those ways of staying alive when in my golden years.
Yeah.
But when I can look at myself and say, where was I in 2017 to where am I today in 2025? I pat myself on the back.
Can you, for us to understand the difference between a realtor and a broker?
Realtor and broker. So realtor, they both kind of fall under the same realm. You have to be a part of the National Association of Realtors. I'm not going to bore you by this. To be considered what's called a realtor. That's the little R with the circle around
right?
it. Okay?
That's like base level entry.
Base level entry.
Got it.
You don't have to be a part of the National Association
But you
of
take
Realtors.
your
but you're
40-hour
gonna-
course. You got to take your test.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you have to, in that 3 years, so I can't become a broker until I show that 3 years I understand being a realtor or a real estate professional. So that third year comes along, and I have proven that I can sell houses. I proved that I do good business. I have to take a 90-hour class to become a broker.
Got it.
Now, as a broker, I can sit with anyone there, and we're going to hash it out.
Yeah.
And they, it's kind of one of those that the buck stops here.
Yeah, you take on more
positions.
liability. You sleep last, get paid last.
You get paid less, sleep less, worry about what's coming down the pike, all that fun stuff. Have, in our case, 10 agents that are always coming up to us saying, how do we do this? How do we do this?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving table last year.
How much? What's that?
That's that Thanksgiving table last year. I'm taking a call. My father-in-law was irritated. I'm sorry.
It's business.
Here we are.
Yeah, it's people's livelihood.
Yep.
How dependent are you when it comes to the interest rates? Do you watch it like every hour, every day?
No, it's interesting because 2020 through 2023 were the best years ever in the real estate world. Obviously you had COVID, so you have everyone's trying to keep this economy afloat. You had people had 1.75% interest rates. The house that we bought, I got 2.75%. So it was a really good time to get into the real estate world or buy a house and sell what you had because all the prices were inflated because everyone had the same idea. So 2020 through 2023, great years. 2023, the end of the year, we started seeing these interest rates start to kind of peak up. The Fed said, whoa, we have an issue here. So they went from 3.5, about where they were there, to about 7, 8.
Right.
And it was it was an eye opener. There was a point where I'm, again, as that person that doesn't sleep, that always is concerned, all that type of thing, you think, okay, like, what is this going to do?
Right.
And it did. It took a minor hit on a lot of people making the decision to buy or to sell, because why would you sell a house where you're essentially borrowing money for free?
Right.
And why would you trade that to pay 7% interest? You know, a lot of people were
Right.
doing those
I got to
things.
stay where I'm at.
So 2023 was a little bit slower.
Yeah.
You know, for people established, and I'll call myself established, you know, we still pushed and we
Sure.
still made the moves. But the real estate agents that worked with us, you know, you could definitely see the impact.
Yeah.
Because they were living on Easy Street for about 3 years.
And then they had to get back in the game and grind.
They had
See,
to realize.
I say highs and lows, both of them are temporary.
They are.
If you're on a high, it's not going to last. If you're on a low, it's not going to last. The key is the game of averages.
Game of averages. And you know that when that average comes in, you want that average to be slightly above
Right.
the regular average.
Right. And better than what my average was last time I checked.
Correct.
I think that's a good barometer of life.
Yeah.
So your new company is called Knockout Real Estate.
Knockout Real Estate.
Now, this is not a commercial.
Not a commercial.
But it is an edification for the grind and the hard work that you and your partner put out. How'd you come up with the term Knockout Real Estate?
Knockout Real Estate. So we were thinking, okay, JMW Real Estate, great name, known in the community. Everyone asked, what does JMW stand for? No idea.
Right.
Didn't have any use.
What does it stand for?
It doesn't stand for
my
anything.
God.
So there used to be a company, real quick. There used to be a company in the Franklin-Saginaw area called CMW.
Yeah.
And the broker that brought me in,
Yeah.
he wanted to kind of keep the same color scheme, the font.
Yeah.
So he just changed the C to a J.
Got it.
JMW.
Got it. All
So
right.
anyways, so that existed, and
I like Knockout better.
Yeah, 100%. We got to the point where we're like, how can we market this to continue growth? You know, how can we get somebody in Fenton or somebody up in Bay City to recognize our name rather than a name that kind of sounds more like a localized, hey, mom and pop type store. So anyway, we come up, my last name, Keller, Rachel's last name, my business partner, Opperman, KO. We got a marketing guy came in. He said, what about Knockout? And we said, well, we don't want to have a bunch of meatheads at box show up here, but sure, let's try it.
No offense to the meatheads that box out there.
None at all.
Because especially if they want to buy or sell a house.
Yeah, but if they show up and they're like, hey, man, I need to train, they're going to look at me and be like, man, you just killed a Jersey Mike Sullivan.
Yeah.
Because I did.
Or two breakfast sandwiches.
Or two breakfast sandwiches when my wife was giving birth.
That's
all
right.
good. But, you know, Knockout came along. We worked on our logo. It shows the K, the O. It looks like a key.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, it's just
branding.
all about branding.
Yeah.
It's tough. You know, it's scary.
See, here's
going
another
from-
seed planter, the guy that came in and said, KO, let's talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
You know, I always say, you know, when you are out there through life, be aware as to what's going on, because ideas can come and then you just have people pop in and they'll give you a piece of advice, a little nugget. Always be aware, man. Don't always think that you have to figure everything out. Just be around super smart people.
It's called being that sponge.
Yeah.
You know, I remember stuff just like you're not looking at a script. You can tell me about me. Yes,
Right.
You're running around trying to do your campaign stuff.
Right.
And have to
And
learn
I memorize
everyone else's
everything.
story.
Right.
But, you know, that's important. If you're a
Yeah.
sponge and I can remember something that you teach me today or
Right.
something that
That's
somebody
right.
else teaches me today, that just improves
Right.
drastically.
Yeah.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel when you're doing stuff is
Yeah.
what I always tell people.
Yeah.
Because everyone says, how do I make more money? How do I make my real estate business larger and more successful?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about people that are underneath us that want to sell more houses next year.
Who are you pouring into like somebody poured into you?
I'm pouring into the fact that your referrals are the number one thing. The way you treat people is not going to be forgotten. And the way you give back is something that will take you to that next level.
Got it. So Knockout Realty is doing well. You're creating a generation of new Andrews coming up.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to sit in this chair years from now and mention your name as the one who planted the seed. That's what leadership is. You carry that as a coach.
Yeah.
Tell me
Coach.
about your coaching career.
Oh man, 8th grade
gotta be
football.
fun.
Yeah, it's been. So when I got out of TV, I had a buddy ask me if I wanted to come volunteer coach for the Frankenmuth Youth Football Program.
Muth Youth?
Muth Youth.
All right, that wasn't a slur right
no,
there.
not a
Muth
slur.
Youth.
Muth Youth.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's Muth Youth. They have football that starts from 3rd grade to 8th grade. And as most people that are watching know, Frankenmuth has a really solid program. I can tell you right now, it starts in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
We teach the basics of the offense that they play
Yep.
at the senior level. So I coach 8th grade. By the time they get up to us, we don't have to go through the basics. You probably remember your back in the day when you played sports.
Okay,
you had to
is that
learn
a
the
dig on me
system.
because I was a late bloomer?
No,
I
it
didn't
was
play
like-
team sports, Andrew.
Oh, you didn't?
Way to like, shame me.
Okay,
yeah.
they-
I became an athlete later, but we'll talk about my non-athletic high
you
school
go.
days where I want to forget.
Okay, fair enough. So in general, then when I would go to practice,
If I had the mindset then that I had now, I'd be dominant.
You'd
But
be
I didn't
dominant.
have that. I
that's
grew
all
into
good.
it.
You got to find it.
There you go.
You got to find
there
it.
you go.
But rather than teaching a new system like a football system, offense, defense, whatever, they have that base
Yeah.
built, and you just build on it.
Sure.
We talk about leadership. We talk about being successful. We talk about building on what you have. These kids that are a part of this Frankenmuth program have done it from 3rd grade all
Yeah.
the way up to senior year. So I'm very lucky in the fact that I've been able to help coach these 8th grade kids, and 3 of them have been to the state finals.
Good.
3 of those teams, 3 of the graduating classes have been on, Ford Field's turf.
Good,
So,
man.
It's fun to
And
be
what
a
do you
part of that.
personally coach?
I'm defensive coordinator.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
sending the house every time.
That's it, man.
Sending the house.
Hey, I'm curious. When you watch the Lions or you watch State or U of M, what decision do you use to blitz or not blitz? Because if it was me, I'd blitz almost just put them under pressure all the time.
So if you watched the Lions game yesterday, they had a full out blitz, and the wide receiver or the running back came out of the backfield, and it was wide open for 40
Got
yards. That's why you got to be careful. You got to get on fast because
Yeah.
as he makes his progression, he's
Yeah.
always going to have that outlet. So
Yeah.
you got to watch for that guy going out to the open
Yeah.
area. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I am a volunteer coach. I'm never going to say I'm good at it.
Yeah.
But I think what I am good at is just being that person for these kids to grow up
Yeah.
with. To say, hey, this guy cares about us.
Yeah.
He's pouring his heart and soul into it. Every day he's coming out here and he's coaching.
And you don't have to.
I don't have
and
to.
all the other coaches
Not
out there.
making any money for
Right,
it.
right.
It doesn't matter. Though.
Yeah.
I have a love for. I think I have a love for community when
Yeah.
I self-reflect. Why do I do it?
Sure.
Just the love for community, the love to be around successful things, the love to try to at least give
Yeah.
something, a little bit of wisdom to some of these kids that might not have it or
Right.
might not have had it. Or
And I bet you have a lot of your 8th grade kids, even in Little Bavaria, that come from strained families,
100%.
broken families. And what you give is the only stability that they may have during that day, week, or even in that season.
and I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
You don't know what kids are going
Right.
through.
And
So-
again, being a coach, you're a great seed planter. And just like somebody planted seeds in you, your philosophy of, I've heard that before, that they start in, elementary school, middle school, by the time they get to high school, they've already been trained up. They have a baseline of
have that
information. A lot of coaching out there. I remember I did not play soccer or sports. I told you that, but I was a coach for my youngest son's AYSO summer soccer.
Oh, yeah.
Like I had no idea what offsides was. I'm like, I won't even know how to coach that, but I do know how to like inspire and encourage. So my son Jordan is wicked fast, man. And obviously there's 4 quarters in soccer. So I would put my 2 best shooters in the first quarter, Jordan and another kid, and they were just so fast. And Jordan could kick so hard, even at like a youth soccer player, that it would like freak people out, right? So I'd put those 2 in, and then I'd sit them the second or third quarter unless the other team scored. Then I'd put them back in and say, you know what to do. And they'd go score. And then on the 4th quarter, when everybody smoked, I put them both in, undefeated season until the last game, when I think the coach of the other team also was the referee, and he called offsides when we shot a goal and it didn't count. But I'm calling it a perfect season. For the first time I ever coached soccer and ever playing in it, it's about putting the right people in the right spot. So 1st and 4th quarter, we dominated because the competition took the eye off the ball.
100%.
Yeah. So there's a little
100%.
strategy about coaching in life.
That
you know?
100%. Keep your eye on the ball.
Do
know
you
what your goal is.
Exactly. And there's a thing that you talk about when, you think about your real estate industry, is you walked into where others have been there for a long time, they're established. Do you think there's power in being underestimated?
Oh God, I love it. I talk about this all the time.
Do tell.
I talk about this all the time. Who is this TV guy coming into a real estate market where you have a lot of people that have been there for a long time, have done a lot of business, what's he going to do? He's going to be your soft producer. He's going to do the jobs no one else does. You know what? At first, it was absolutely that. I was doing jobs no one else would do. I was selling $25,000 houses on Main Street in Clio, you know, that needed a ton of work, that had crumbling foundations. But I took it all, and it was a great learning experience.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could have been one of those guys that looked at it and said, oh my gosh, I'm never going to make it to this next level. I'm never going to be that big person that, you know, I envy and still do envy. But then stuff starts rolling.
That's right.
Then they start seeing me do videos like, you know, doing stepping outside of my boundaries.
Some unorthodox plays.
Doing some stuff that they probably
where your
look at
TV
me,
career did help.
Correct.
Right.
And they look at me and they say, why are you doing this to us? Well, that all happens. And then, you know, next thing I know, I'm doing a full Sopranos spoof on a $1.2 million house in the city of Frankenmuth, which ended up being the most expensive house that's ever sold in Frankenmuth.
Good for you, brother.
So, you know, you talk about trials, tribulations, you talk about some of that stuff that everyone deals with. And how do you overcome it?
Yeah.
Grind. Continue to go down the path that you see yourself going down. Continue to do the right things, whether they're a $20,000 seller or a $5 million seller.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. Treat them with respect. That's what we miss a lot on today, I think, is just that respect thing.
Yeah.
If you treat me with respect, I'm going to give you it back in twofold.
You know, you bring up a good point. When I first started this episode with you, we talked about you were underestimating yourself with Meg, and boom. You were underestimating yourself delivering her baby. Boom. You underestimated yourself going to real estate. Boom. Being a coach, being a defensive coordinator. Like, you have a pattern. I think a lot of people out there can relate that, you know, ready never comes. No. So sometimes you got to ready, fire, aim. No. And the key is to being underestimated. People don't see what you're doing behind the scenes. And next thing you know, you're rounding third coming home and they have no idea how you got there.
Absolutely. And you know what? Don't be afraid to miss either.
Yeah.
If I miss that target, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Because I have another shot. So,
there you go.
You know, great analogy. And, you know, I think that's what I try to tell the people that are working for me. That's what I tell people that are in some of the nonprofits that I'm a part of. You know, if you miss, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
We're all going to look at you and say, darn, great job.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Missed opportunity.
Let's bounce back.
That's right.
Let's bounce back.
Back in the day, I was a young detective. I was a sergeant, and my then sheriff had a guy that was sentenced to life in prison named Joe Giacalone. And he was the investigator at the time. And, you know, Giacalone went in for, you know, kidnapping and armed robbery. Anyhow, got a huge sentence. All that to say, he got out because he wrote his own appeal. And the judge, back when he was sentenced, ruled that there was a comment made that tainted the jury, and he got released. But he did over 15 years in prison. That being said, he comes out and he does some things. He gets some grant money that he didn't pay back. And bottom line is, I was the investigator. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, I'm doing a year-long investigation, and I found out who he was before I actually met him. And once he got charged with a 5-year felony, he walks into the district court and he goes, "Sergeant Swanson, my worthy opponent." And he was way older than me, but he was brilliant. And so I became almost a friend of his during this whole process. So after he took the plea and he got probation, didn't pay the money back, but he was so good at what he did, I was fascinated by his wisdom. And I remember after the whole trial and the whole episode that happened, and we're on our ways. I was going through some property, and I saw in one of the houses that we did a search warrant was a book that he wrote to his kids, handwritten. I started reading the pages, and it was unbelievable. Fast forward, I call him up. I'm like, "Hey, this is property that you had, but I think you need it back." And he was stunned that I would call him. So him and his brother Tony came in. I mean, talk about Joe and Tony Giacalone. That's like mob name, right? And we came in, and I handed him the paper, and I'm like, "Listen, it's not right for me to just dispose of this. You wrote it." So, and I saw the first line is dedicated to his kids. So a year or so later, he comes in, and I'm a captain at the time, and he says, "I want to drop something off," and he took it. He self-published the book, and he wrote something in there about how it came about is through our relationship. But there was a story in there where he said when he was a young salesman and he would bring up somebody new, he would pick him up from his house. He sold windows and awnings and siding. He would say to the guy next to him, he goes, "Hey, how much money do you have in your pocket?" The guy would pull it out. He goes, "Let me have your money." And he pulls out his money. And he said, "I'd drive down 475 and I'd throw it out the window." He goes, "Now we don't have any money. We need to make sales."
I'll be darned.
It's those little stories, like even though I met him on a criminal activity and he did what he did, it's those little nuggets. And so when I'm talking about, sometimes life puts you in as an underdog. Sometimes being an underdog is really what gives you the power to move forward.
Sure.
And if you look at anybody who's ever moved something in life, I always say moments with momentum create movements. And you created a movement that has gone in 44 states, that has served families and law enforcement, that are interacting with kids who have autism.
Carter Kits is it. Yeah, crazy story on that as well. My neighbor Justin Sievers, detective at Saginaw Township Police, Brandon Hosbeck, who is now the chief of Saginaw City Fire. We got together one time and we said, what can we do to make a difference? And it was just kind of in passing. And Justin said, Justin, who has a child with autism, Carter,
I knew there had to be connection, and his name is Carter.
He said it'd be really nice to have something for police to lean on if they go into a situation with a child with special needs, specifically autism. How do we make that happen?
What year was this?
This would have been 2019.
Yeah.
2019.
So you started your new career, you just got married, you're getting into your life, and yet you asked to do something more.
Why not? That's what I tell people. Why not? Because it's some of those things, it's fuel to the fire of life is what I tell people. I go to sleep every night and I'm exhausted. Probably just like you.
That's right.
But it's the best exhaustion in the world.
And you wake up the next morning at zero. Just push forward and create something new. So Justin's there. His son Carter's got autism. And, for somebody who, I do not have a family member that has autism, but I certainly have worked in a field where people have not only just, learned to deal with an autistic loved one, but what you're doing is you're helping us respond to those situations. So tell us what Justin said to you that you thought this needs to be in the kit.
Exactly what I was hoping that you would ask. So Justin was a young buck in the police field doing everything that he had to do. And he remembers vividly there was a time where he had a special needs adult and he had to go on and he knew something was wrong, but what he was trained is to go hands-on. And when he went hands-on, this guy lost his mind and it was just a really bad situation.
Turned into a forcible.
That Justin did not think he'd ever have to be a part of. He didn't know he'd have a child with autism. He had no idea.
This is before he even had a child.
Before he had a child. So at the time, that was status quo. We'll call it that. Nothing status quo, but it was in this situation. So march on to 2019. Carter's 5 years old. He's still in the police world. He says, he starts thinking, I think. Justin's one of the greatest guys. If you want to hear a great story, it's him. But Justin starts thinking, and we were just kind of in a group chat, him, Brandon, myself, and we said, what can we do to, make life better? And this was the idea.
Dude, haven't I asked that? Like, how do I make your life better?
How do you make your life better?
That's absolutely perfect.
So we had no idea. We're not experts in the field. So I remember working with an autism center in Saginaw. I remember working with SVRC in Saginaw and saying, how do we do this? What are we doing? And we had a couple ideas. Fidget toys, weighted blanket, sunglasses, noise-canceling headphones, and a nonverbal communication card. That was the base. We gave out 10. It was a Christmas gift. I just wanted to use the ability.
To the police department.
Correct. Well, we gave them to 8 different police departments.
Nice.
So it was like Frankenmuth, Birch Run, Saginaw Township, Saginaw City Fire. So, we handed them out to these local people that we had impact with. Using my previous career, I was able to send out a news release and I had every single TV station there.
Seeds planted back then. Help you now.
Everyone's there. Next day, it's on CNN.
Third time on CNN. No. 2 times on CNN, one picture that captures your emotion at the delivery.
Yeah.
Twice on CNN.
Yeah. And the next, probably about 24 hours, I get a call from this small community in Alabama Coleman, Alabama.
How
How do we do this? How do we do this? Yep. And I talked to Brandon and Justin, and I said, do we take this to the next level? And I knew the cost of them was right around $90. I knew that we had
per kit.
I knew that we had to make the trip down. So I said, I'll pay for the trip down. We'll take some kits down.
Wow.
Take them down. Every single news station
Sacrificial leadership.
Third time CNN.
Are you serious?
Everything started coming in place. We got to a point where we had about 10 different departments ranging from North Carolina, Connecticut, Alabama, obviously, Michigan. Several people in Michigan want to be a part of it. And that's where we decided, okay, we need to make this a 501c3. So did that entire process. Meg's mom's really good friend is a clinical neuropsychologist. Her name's Dr. Ellen Preen. We brought her in. We need some backing. Like, we are three dudes that know nothing about the medical industry, and we're not going to get sued because we're trying to do a good thing.
Right.
She comes in, we get insurance, we do the entire thing the correct way. Now we're a board of 6. We have 2 doctors on it.
And how many kits have you given out since 2019?
Last check, it was about 23,000.
23,000 across the country.
Yeah.
And think of how many lives that you saved from a forcible interaction with law enforcement, how many families, how many people you taught through this process at $90 a pop. Yeah. So how do you get your funding?
How do we get our funding? It used to be Andrew Keller. Yeah. Andrew Keller donation.
Good for you, man.
You know what? It's worked out to where we now have a full-time employee. We have a part-timer. Tonight we actually have a meeting and we're talking about bringing a new person on.
Good for you.
We have the here's like the really
cool. So if somebody wants to support from this podcast, we'll throw that link in there for you, man.
Please do. And here's the really cool full circle moment. SVRC in Saginaw employs special needs people. Guess who put those kits together?
Yeah.
We have everything delivered.
Made by and for the same folks.
Correct. So
explain that acronym, what that stands for people not from this area.
I knew you'd ask me that. I'm pretty sure it's Saginaw Valley Resource Center.
Got it.
Don't have everyone kill me.
Good.
I think that's what it is.
It's an S, a V, an R, and a C. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So anyway, they existed. They started way back in the day in somebody's garage. Talk about from ashes to what they are today.
Amazing.
They started out in a garage and they wanted to help people in the area, specifically children or young adults with special needs disabilities. Wanted to give them jobs. And now they have the old Saginaw News Building in downtown Saginaw. They have a warehouse.
Good for you, bro.
So many square feet. So, you think about
Do you go there and look around and go, look at where this came from to what it is right now?
I do. And I'm so glad that Carter Kits continues to drive it.
Is there a specific story that stands out that you remember? This is one of those moments where our kid did blank. Do you have anything that stands out?
So testimonials are always a good thing, and we always ask people to leave testimonials. And I think within the first 2 or 3 weeks of these kids, and this is before we had training,
right?
Like we now have a full training regimen, and everything that for these people, these departments, because the last thing you want to do is drop something in front of somebody and say,
"Yeah, here it is. I don't know what it does, but use it."
Right. So we have a full-on training. We have trained the trainers. I think last check it was somewhere around 100, 150 people that volunteered to train. And
I love it.
So the 3 weeks in, it was a MMR ambulance up in Saginaw.
Yeah.
They went to a scene, child with special needs. There's a firefighter, our fire truck that was blaring, and they remember seeing that, and they pulled out the noise canceling headphones.
Oh,
calmed him right down. Gave him a fidget toy, calmed him right down. That's
good
what
job,
life's
brother.
about, man. It's I think of all the accomplishments of, the corporate world, we'll call it. But when you think, I haven't taken a cent. Justin hasn't taken a cent. Brandon hasn't taken a cent from this. I mean, we're bringing in $1 million and more for this nonprofit a year.
That just started on a group text.
Yeah, man. And we're not taking any money from it. And here's why.
See, what just happened is that moment, you created the momentum, created the movement.
It's a movement.
I would love for your 4th CNN moment to be this episode of the Working Class Podcast. You
never know, man.
Push this baby out,
we'll
man.
Push it.
Push it out. I got some last minute, we call them rapid fire questions.
Beautiful.
So just what comes off on your heart, and you got 30 seconds to answer them.
Beautiful.
Some may take longer than others, but 30 seconds nonetheless. Who's your favorite group of all time to go see, alive or dead? Music.
Oh man, AC/DC.
Wow. Just had a last guest say the same thing. Have you seen them?
I haven't. but I've seen a lot of videos.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Even the
I've seen a lot
tribute
of
bands
videos.
are good.
Oh, yeah. The tribute bands are so much fun to
Got
watch.
it.
If it was more contemporary, Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
I like some of his music, man. It's catchy.
Yeah.
They not like us, baby.
That's
They not like us. So
I love it.
My car is hilarious, and my 30 seconds might be up, but I'll go from hip hop to
Dude, same thing.
2000s to country.
Yep, that's it.
And you know what? I'll listen to 103.9 The Fox too, because I need
That's right.
I need my classic rock
That's
fix.
it. Every
So,
time I'm there, I always say I can't leave without hearing Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart.
Favorite person though right now is Chris Stapleton. His voice kills me.
Got it. Have you seen him live?
I haven't.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I'm not a huge concert person.
Okay.
I like listening though.
Got it.
I
Okay.
like, yeah. Then I can sing and blare it out.
What's your favorite movie of all time to watch?
Waterboy.
Because you love Adam Sandler or you just love the show?
Just the base of it is
Yeah.
hilarious. I love the Waterboy. I've probably watched that a million
Got
times.
it.
Another one I like is Forrest Gump.
That's
So
right.
I'm old school.
That's
man.
it.
Waterboy, Forrest Gump. If it was today, favorite movie, I don't know. I like shows better.
See, I
like
gotta tell you.
Landman right now. We're on Landman,
Oh,
which
yes,
is on Paramount
yes,
Plus.
yeah.
Man, that's a great show.
Do you know that the sheriff that is played in there, Mark Colley's a country music star?
Did not know that.
Yeah, and Mark and I talk all the time because
Okay.
it's filmed in Collin County, Texas, where the sheriff, who's the sheriff in the north part, is Sheriff Skinner, who's one of the Ignite sheriffs that we have that has launched Ignite down in Collin County, has his own equestrian program. So Landman has a lot of connections. Going back to your movie, man, mine is Happy Gilmore. So it's funny you said
Oh.
Waterboy. I said Happy Gilmore because that is not the second one.
Not the second
Yeah,
one.
I'm sorry.
Not the second
That didn't
one.
do something much for me.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What's Meg's favorite food?
Meg's favorite food is. She likes
She's
a lot.
watching right now.
I know she's watching right now. I'm trying to not make her mad because she'd be like, I like that, but I like this better.
You should have known.
Yeah, I would say it's either pizza or it would be something very healthy that
Yeah.
I'm like, "Ugh, fine.
Yeah, which is not in your. I'm just guessing.
I'm just a big
I'm
dude
not
from Davison,
judging.
man.
I mean,
I'm like Big John's, McDubs, all that
that's
good
right.
stuff.
Jersey Mike's were
Jersey
mentioned
Mike's
here.
for lunch. Yeah,
you
I mean,
mentioned 2 breakfast sandwiches.
I could be.
I'm not guessing you're vegan.
I could be an advertisement during the NFL game.
yeah,
baby.
exactly.
Papa John's hooked me up.
That's right. All right, man. You're standing on a stage in front of the entire country.
Yep.
And all eyes are on you. And you get to give a 30-second message to everybody. And then you're going to close this show out from this message. So I want to say thank you for everybody watching and listening. But Andrew Keller is going to close us out and speak to the entire country. What would you tell them in 30 seconds?
First of all, thank you for having me before I go away on this 30-second tangent. But I would say everyone starts out as an underdog. Everyone wants to build themselves up to be somebody that is memorable, that does something that, they can go to bed at night and know that they've done the right thing. It's all doable. You have to take the chance. You have to go out there. You have to say, I'm going to overcome every challenge that's going to come your way, because it's not going to be simple. I can promise you that. But if you do overcome those and you keep at it and you keep fighting and you keep grinding and doing all those right words and doing those right things, you will come out on top. And when you come out on top, you'll say, okay, I'm in a great place. Now what can I do to make myself feel better? And that's where Carter Kits is born. That's where me being on the first team of Eastern Michigan, their board, is born. That's where me volunteering and giving up 2 hours of my night every day in the fall to help 8th grade football players comes alive. I feel like, and maybe I'm one of those outliers. Maybe I'm just the lucky guy. I don't think luck is a part of it at all. I think it's me just knowing that I need to get that. I need to feel that feeling. And at the end of the day, when I look at Knockout Real Estate, I look at Carter Kits, I look at First Tee of Eastern Michigan, I look at a beautiful wife at home with a brand new 21-day-old child. That's what life's about, man.
You're a good man, Coach. And that's the Working Class Podcast.